In a previous episode, I showed how to call a particle function from a Losant workflow, but you may have the need to publish an event that your particle devices have subscribed to. And so today I'm going to show you how you can create a workflow, a very simple workflow, to be able to publish an event to the particle cloud that your devices will pick up. For the purposes of this episode, I have a very simple program here running on my particle photon. It is made up of, as usual, the setup and loop. All I do in setup is set D7, that's the built-in LED, to be an output, and then I subscribe to hockey flurry stats. This can be any event that you want. Give it any name that you want as long as it follows the rules of events as far as character limits and usage of characters. And then the function in our firmware that we want to call, in our case, stat update. Now, this subscription handler function has to have a certain signature. It has to take a const char star event and a const char star data. So you get the event and the data in your function that you can then use. In this very simple example, I actually don't even use those two parameters. All I do in the function that will get called when that event is triggered is I write digital write to the built-in LED high, wait a second, and then write low. And so all that's going to do is turn the LED on for 1 second and then turn it back off. This is it, 14 lines of code, just as a simple example of how you would subscribe to an event, set up the handler to do something when that event and do something when that event fires. And so that is running on my particle photon. So let's come over to Losant, and we're going to come into our dashboard here where we have our applications. Come into one of your applications. In my case, I'm just going to use the IoT hockey one that we're working on, and we're going to click Add Workflow, and we'll call it Subscription Test. Click Create Workflow. And then all we have to do here for the purposes of testing, we're going to start our workflow with a virtual button that we can click to trigger our workflow. And then we're going to come down to the output section of the node palette and pull an HTTP node over onto the workspace. Because the people at Particle have done such a great job of making an API that's accessible to access all the features of their cloud, all we have to do here is make an HTTP post request. And so in our label here, we can just give it a name, publish event, we'll say. And then just a couple of simple settings. The request method is going to be post. The URL is going to be this HTTPS API.particle.io v1 devices. This is coming straight out of the cloud API documentation for Particle. It's just this events endpoint. And then we have to give it a body, which the API will take JSON or URL form encoded data. When we pass our access token in the body, it will only accept the URL form encoded format. So we can't pass this in JSON. So what we're going to do first is come down to request headers. And I mean, look, the Losant platform, they've thought of everything here. They even give you a drop down of the options here. And so what we need is we need content type right here. And then it knows what the valid content types are. And we need to scroll down quite a bit in this list and grab this application / xwww form URL encoded format. Okay, and what that basically means, don't let that scare you. It's just the way we need to format the data in here that the API needs is to do value, we'll say key equals value, and you can pass multiple by doing an and. Key 2 equals value 2. And that's all that means when we set the content type. And for the API for publishing an event, we have to pass the name of the event, a TTL, that's how long the event should remain live, and then our access token. And so the way we do that, I have it, so you don't have to watch me type it in. I'm just going to paste it in here. And so we have name. Again, this is straight out of our firmware. The name of the event that we subscribed to was this hockey flurry stats. Set the sorry about that, the time to live to 60, and then the access token we just put in there at the end. And that's it. So all we do now is we wire it up. So when we push the button, we're going to publish that event, and then we deploy the workflow. Now I've plugged in my particle photon. It is breathing cyan, so it's booted up and ready to go, waiting for an event to be published. And so if we've done everything correctly, we're going to click the virtual button here, and the onboard LED, which is right here, should flash for 1 second. Perfect. Just that simple. So again, this is a great way if you don't want to do a particle function call on a specific device. You can publish an event to the particle cloud so that any device that has subscribed to that event can pick up this information and act on it. If you have any questions about anything that you saw in this video, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Just stick it in the comments, or you can reach out to me on Twitter at Kevin Sidwar. Email me, kevin@sidwar.com. Always happy to hear from people and help out. If you found this video useful, it would mean a ton to me if you would hit that subscribe button. And if you're feeling super generous, you can hit that bell as well to get notifications when I publish new videos. Thanks so much for watching Daily IoT, the show where together we're learning how to make the Internet of Things one day at a time.